Good afternoon, and thank you for joining. This is just Russell of Hotels, and I have this new thing that I came up with, pulled it out of the thin air. It's called "Did you choose hospitality or did hospitality choose you?" So we're on today with Miss Marie Quarry. She's with Meetings Collective. She's like the CEO of Meetings Collective, and we're going to get into that as to what Meetings Collective is. But as you can see, it's like I said, the show is did you choose hospitality or did hospitality choose you? So, and this is meant to be like 10, 15-minute conversation. And it's about, hospitality people. How did they get into this industry? Because a lot of people came from different ways. They got in by accident. Maybe they started and they know what they're getting into. And they like all of a sudden like, oh, this could be great. This could be fun. I don't know if everybody started off as like, I want this to be a career, or it was a job which turned into a career. So we won't know until we ask Marie, right? Because I can go from my own experience. I actually went into it thinking it was going to be a career, and it ended up being a career for me. So, but everyone came through it a little differently. So Marie Quarry, come to the mic, and I'm just going to ask this one question. Did you choose hospitality or did hospitality choose you?
Hi, Russell. Nice to
Hello.
see you again.
Good seeing you. And thank you so much. Marie and I had lunch last week at Seabirds in Long Beach, one of my favorite vegan places. And Marie actually treated. So I'm so happy to have her on this show because, she treats, and I had to have her on the show.
Well, it sounds like I'm buying my way in here, Russell, but
No,
but
not at all.
I so appreciated the catch up. It's been a long time, and then you were kind enough to come down to Long Beach, and Seabirds is 2 blocks away from me, so it was a great, I say, a great afternoon that we had.
Well,
Not the
thank you.
whole afternoon.
I
We
had
had
a
quite
good
a great
time as
lunch.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely
So
caught up, and definitely gave me some material for my show tomorrow. So I
oh,
do appreciate that. Excluding
great.
this, what we're going to talk
Right.
about now, but for my show that's normally that's on Tuesdays, on air with Russell
Tuesdays.
Hotel. So Marie gave me some things to think about. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it for tomorrow, but anyway, but thank you so much for joining us, Marie.
Sure. Thank you
I
for
know
asking.
we're all busy and all that stuff, but did you choose hospitality or did hospitality choose you?
Well, I have to say, when I saw that you had that, what, about a week or two ago, you brought that up in one of your live. I thought, what a great question. I just love that because, of course, it gets you thinking about got me thinking about what, did I choose it or did it choose me? And then, of course, I came up with both. But then I said I had a little bit of a deeper thought about it, and came up to say, yeah, I chose it. But what made me think about both in the beginning was that I think I was 11 or 12, and my family. I'm from Ohio, and our family vacation one year, which we didn't do very often, but we drove down to Florida. So we ended up checking into a hotel in Miami Beach, the Holiday Inn, and we walked in, and the line to the front desk, there must have been like 4 or 5 long lines to check in. And, I'm sure the people behind the front desk, if you've ever worked behind a front desk, you don't want to see long lines because you just it would freak me out, let's say. I don't know about you, but it would certainly freak me out. But I recall thinking, how cool that, I'm looking at the people behind the desk, and they got their uniforms on, and I'm like, well, what a pretty cool job. They get to meet people from all over the world. That was my take on it. So the rest of the vacation I can't really even recall, but I remember being, because I was a small, not that I'm very tall now, but I was small among a bunch of adults standing in the lobby of that hotel. So years after I graduated from high school, and I started going to a community college because I had no clue what I wanted to do. I thought, okay, liberal arts. It's like, let me just, can't be, I'm not sure about being a master of one. So I ended up being a master try to be a master of all. And I actually got a job during the summer at the Holiday Inn LAX. And
I know that place.
yes, that's right there. It's one of the original still there, one of the original on Century Boulevard in La Cienega on the corner, almost on the corner. But it happened to be at the time my dad was working as an engineer. So he calls me and says, "You come down, I've got the front office manager wants to, I told him about you and, he wants you to come down and interview." And I'm like, this is my first time. I'm like, I don't know but, I'm looking at it as it's a summer job. So the position was a switchboard operator.
Oh,
And
that sounds like fun.
oh gosh, lots of fun. So I ended up talking to him for probably a whole 5 minutes. And he says, "Okay, you start tomorrow." And I'm like, "What?" It was like, so, what, 18 years old. And I'm thinking myself, I'm starting full time tomorrow as a switchboard operator. So there you go. I kind of actually enjoyed having that paycheck come in, that after the summer, I was going to school during the day, a couple of classes, and then eventually I never finished. So I made a career out of hospitality because I loved it so much. So I was learning there. So from switchboard, I did reservations. I went to front desk, became a front desk supervisor. Then I moved to sales and catering.
And
So
how was
I
that transition from, say, operations at the front desk to this glamorous? What made you go into sales? I mean, what was your first position in sales, and what gave you that, like, oh, I can do that, or this, oh, they look so cool, or they don't seem like they work a lot. I mean, they're just having a lot of fun. I mean, what was it that drew you to sales?
well, that's a good question too, because I looked at it. It was an opening, and it was the job was in the was like in the back office. When
Okay.
you're in a front desk, you don't have kind of office. You're always out front, and you're really not having the kind of conversations with people as you normally would, especially when I had the morning. I had this seven. Is it 7 6 to 2, 7 to 2? I can't remember now. The shift in the morning. So I had all these grumpy, I said, all these grumpy businessmen checking out, throwing the keys on the counter. I want to check out, fighting with you because we used to count the local calls and charge them a certain amount for
Oh,
local calls.
wow.
So I'd have them then come. I didn't make those calls. You need to take those out. I mean, it was like the ridiculous. I love the hours, but it was not that kind of a atmosphere to kind of be in long term. So they had a position open for a sales and catering coordinator, and it was behind a desk. And yeah, I took the job, and I never left sales after that. I moved to other properties, but that first property I did 3 years
And that
and
was
had
still
a
at the Holiday Inn LAX.
yeah, and
Okay.
I was there for 3 years. So to me, it was the training. It was the training that I needed to understand, housekeeping, banquets, restaurants. You just learn. You just
Okay.
learn being on property.
Very
So
good.
yeah,
Uh,
it was fun.
yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like loads
Yeah,
of fun.
I mean, when
What
you're young, everything could be fun, right? It's
when
not
you're
like
what? Say that again.
when you're young.
That's true. That's true. You don't know what you don't know, and you just, someone teaches you something, you just go for it, and like you just keep doing it, and
Yeah,
hopefully, and then I guess we're not even thinking about it at that point, but it evolves into something else that you had no idea that it was going to evolve into. So you went from a coordinator to, what was your first like sales manager's position? Who and
well,
what where was that?
yeah, that's so. After I left Holiday Inn, I took a job, but again, I went as a sales coordinator, and it was at Hyatt Hotels in their a worldwide sales office.
And that was in Century
So
City?
no, they were across the street from the building used to be across the street from the Hyatt Hotel, which is
Okay.
now again, a Hyatt property.
Okay.
It was in the office building. So I was there for 2 years. And then I wanted, or and Hyatt did not want to place me in a hotel as a sales manager. They wanted me to go into a hotel as a coordinator again,
Mm.
and I just didn't want it. So I found a job being a sales manager at actually another hotel at LAX for a very short time,
What was the name of
and
that?
it was the Travel Lodge,
Okay. All right.
which is now what? Isn't it is it a Four Points
Yes, it's the 4 points right there,
on
next
Airport?
adjacent to the Marriott, right on off of Century on Airport Boulevard.
Yeah, behind it.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's now a
air.
Sheraton 4 points.
Okay, yeah, it's Airport, and what's the yeah whatever that
90,
street?
90. No, I'm no. It's I can't think of it. I can't think of it.
Yeah, not maybe 98th. Could be.
Maybe it is 98th. Yes,
Could be.
98th and Airport Boulevard. Wow, that's
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a travel lodge back in the
That was
day.
a travel back then. Yeah, way back then. It was a travel lodge, and they had the old section, and then they had the new section. The new section rooms were great, the ones in the front.
It's funny.
But
It's now a Sheraton 4 points, and they still have the old section and new section.
they have an old section and new section, and it was considering what travel lodges were. I mean, this
No,
was
that's
not
good.
a motel. It was a closed in,
But that
and
was huge. That's like 580
it's
rooms, if I'm not mistaken. Something like
it's
that.
huge. Yeah.
Yes,
So they put me in charge of the airline accounts.
of
So
course.
yeah, and what I do is I'd have to go and make calls at the airport,
Okay. Wow.
you know, to the airlines, and make sure that if and it fogged in and they have to overnight and guests, or that if they couldn't take off, that's what I
Okay.
was doing. So I did that for a very short time, and then I took a job at a Hilton property across from USC, which it isn't a Hilton anymore.
It
I
became
think
a Radisson. Now it's the USC hotel.
now it's the USC hotel.
Yeah,
So I was
USC now actually. Well, they've owned it for some years now, but they've actually took it. It was a Radisson, then became the USC hotel.
USC hotel. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I
Wow.
thought I had heard they had some of the rooms as dorms, which would make sense.
Yes, they do.
Because the ones on the bottom were quite large in
Yes.
comparison. So
Wow.
yeah. So I was
You've had quite a few. See, over the conversation that we had the other day, you didn't mention the Travel Lodge nor the USC hotel, but
well,
you.
yeah, it was a Hilton. It was a franchise Hilton. And then I left
Uh-huh.
and I went to Meridian Hotels again in the global
Okay.
sales office. So they only had 54 hotels worldwide.
Okay.
So that was in Century City.
Okay. But then you spend some time where
Where?
abroad. You spend
Oh, I was in Australia.
for
Yeah,
how
Sydney.
long? With who?
4 years with Marriott International. Yep.
Okay. Okay. See,
Yeah.
we need to hear all the experiences here, Marie. I mean, there's a lot going on
I
here.
yes, thank you for asking. Yes, so my whole majority of my hotel experience has been in global sales or worldwide sales,
Okay.
and I wouldn't sell just one property.
Mm-hmm.
What I loved about it was I get to sell the world wherever there was a property. If somebody had a need for it, there I was to talk about it. And I wanted to travel. I always knew that travel was important for me. It
Mm-hmm.
was it was it was a passion for me, and I ended up traveling extensively, Asia, Europe, U.S., North Africa. So I still got South America, and I
Mm-hmm.
still got the rest of Africa. So I
Okay.
got plenty to explore. Plenty to
So
explore.
all that, so you got to see the majority of the world because of your job, correct?
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
that's the thing with the people. People coming into hospitality now, I guess maybe they don't realize that if you're in sales. Okay, now let's just
It's a
preface
different.
that by saying if you're in sales, you get to,
Mm.
depending on your position, you can, see the world like you said. That's what you wanted, and yet you ended up seeing the world, and you just took a part-time job in the summer being a front desk
No, switchboard operator.
switchboard PBX. That's
PBX.
don't. It's not switchboard. It's PBX. Let's make sure we use the right acronyms. I don't even know what the hell
PBX.
PBX stands for, but
Me neither. It's just a lot of phone lines.
yes, yes, yes.
And
So
no, I did
wow.
not have the one that you click in the old, everybody thinks the old school with the wires. No, it was, you just push buttons. So
And then you get a call back. You didn't transfer me to the right number.
yeah, it would ring back. If somebody doesn't answer the phone, it rings back. Yeah. So
Wow. So, okay, let's fast forward now to what Marie is doing. Okay, you left hotels and you left being on property. And what did you evolve into after that?
So as I said, I went into global sales for Meridian, then I went to Marriott, and then I went overseas, and I came back, and I ended up working for an old former colleague of mine who had a hotel rep company. So I started repping these independent hotels, and I was doing that part time and traveling because it was kind of like, I didn't want to be full time anymore in the hotel industry. It was a great experience, but I kind of got burned out. But I still love to travel. But now it's like I feel like it's more on my terms and doing what I'm doing. So,
Mhm.
Meetings Collective is for a group of us that do venue search or meeting planning, like yourself, and we come together as a group and have shared resources and ways to generate business for all of us in one way or another.
Okay.
So,
So a group of meeting planners, or I call myself a hotel site selection
hotel
expert or person or
venue,
whatever.
I say venue
Venue
selection.
selection.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So
exactly.
you form Meetings Collective. Now, Marie and I, we kind of worked together briefly with another meeting planning company several years ago, and that's how Marie and I met, and we just connected and never lost touch.
That's
So,
true.
I mean,
That
that's
was the
a
best
lot of
part.
my. I'm sorry.
The,
What was that?
that was the best thing that came out of that working
What
with that
that we
company.
still that we
That
connected?
that I
Yes.
met you and that yeah, absolutely. The best part.
Yes, that is, you're absolutely right. So, yeah, yeah. So Marie and I get together, a couple of times, hopefully it's like a quarter, every quarter we get together, for lunch. And I always go to Long Beach because I love Long Beach and I love and she's open to vegan or non-meat eats. Okay. So that's why we connect because she just goes along with whatever I want to eat. So in fact, she suggested another place that we're going to eat the next time we meet. So I'm looking forward to that. But real quick before, how does one get in touch with you? So say someone wants to have a meeting, and they need
Mhm.
somebody to do site selection for them. How do they get a hold of Marie?
How do they get a hold of Marie? Well, they can always call Russell, but then Russell could also help them as well. Nothing wrong, Russell.
I'm trying to put your brand up there,
Yes,
right?
you're so
Okay.
kind. Yes, thank you. Well, I have. It's actually the side that does the venue or the meeting planning part of it is the meetings oracle. So it's Marie at the meetingsoracle.com is
Okay.
my email address. So thank you for asking.
Oh, no, very good.
Yeah.
No, I just want to make sure that people understand the collaborations that I do, right? It's not about competition. It's about being
We,
collaborative.
yeah.
And then you come on the show. I mean, you can talk about the show's all about, well, this particular one, did hospitality
Yes.
choose you or did you choose it? Okay. But
Yes.
it's all about, what are you doing now? Where'd you start? What are you doing now? And because I want people to know what you're doing now. And if you're still in the industry, and if you're still in the industry, how can you help people? So you can help them by helping people with venue selection or site selection or however you want to put it. Although I do the same thing, but it's not about me. It's about you, right?
It is about you too. But
So it's about you. So I have my own show where I can talk about all that stuff. I can talk about me, but no, this is about the person that's next to me, and it's about their brand and them
thank
putting
you.
their brand on blast instead of the other way around. So, like I said,
Thank
this
you.
it's not about competition. It's about being collaborative, and
It
that's what
is. It's exactly it.
that's what this is about. Because
Yeah.
we still share ideas and things like that. I mean, when we had lunch the other day, I mean, we talked shop, right? And
Yeah.
did you ever think about this, or you had experience with that? And it's just bouncing things off of one another. And I think a lot other like-minded people or people that are doing the same thing should do the same thing. And that's probably why you came up with Meetings Collective, because
Yes.
you wanted a group of people with the same idea, well, not necessarily the same ideas, but the same interests, to come together and with their collective information or
Well, I
whatever.
mean, we can help one another, and by pulling resources. Again, it isn't about competition.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being able to help one another one way or another. Some people are going to be strong in certain areas that I know I'm not, and
Exactly.
for me, I feel very comfortable with the international because I've done so much travel and I've seen a
Mm-hmm.
lot of hotels and I've stayed in a lot of hotels. So, I feel comfortable about that. But that doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't have the same experience. But anyway, it's
No,
all
that makes
about
sense. I like
sharing and
that, and I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people, a lot of planners, or a lot of hotel site selection, whatever you want to put them, they don't have the international experience. They don't know what an international contract would look like, or what you need to look for in an international contract. So I would call you because I don't have that experience, right? So that's where it comes with this whole, like I said, it's collaborative. It's not about competition, because there's people
yeah.
out there that know more about things than I don't, that I know. So I don't claim to be the expert. I know a lot. Yeah. But
We are.
yeah,
Yeah, we are experts for
well,
what we
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. Well,
In
I
what
like
we
to
do,
say, I
absolutely.
don't know.
You've got
Expert.
operations. I don't. I mean, my operation experience was enough. That was it. Front desk,
Hmm.
switchboard or PBX. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else for me was sales.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you know the in and outs. So
Yeah, but
definitely.
but there's always things that have changed. So that's why I don't like to say an expert. Maybe there's another word for it. What's the word that I would use? It wouldn't be expert, but it'd be something similar to that. It'd be close to being expert, but I can't think of the word. I had God, I can't even think of the word that I would use. But yeah, knowledgeable. Okay, yeah, knowledgeable.
Knowledge, very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
Yes.
knowledgeable about hotel operations, things like that. So yeah, so that's what I have going for me. But as far as international, you're doing an international meeting, Marie's your girl. Okay. So,
Thank you.
but
I
anyway,
know.
all right. So
So
we just want to
much.
take a couple minutes with Marie and just say, so I guess the consensus is you were going for a part-time job, and did you choose it or did it choose you?
So as I said, I felt like it was both, a little bit of both,
Okay.
but then in the long run, I mean, as we are so unlimited as human beings, even though we think we're limited as human beings, we can create what it is that we want. So my feeling is I created it by being in that lobby of that Holiday Inn in Miami Beach when I was 11, 12 years old. I created this opportunity for me to be in this industry. Does
Wow.
that make sense?
I
Yeah.
love
It's
that.
like,
That was great. You just pulled that all together, Marie.
yeah.
Wow.
We
That's
we
good.
all we all have that. You an entrepreneur. I
Yeah.
mean, you wouldn't have thought going into the hospitality industry. I know you studied
Yeah.
for
Somewhat.
this.
Somewhat.
Yeah, well, you did. You went to school for it. So did you ever think you'd be an entrepreneur? No, but you created it.
No. If I'd have thought that, I never would have thought it would be in this space. I maybe thought it'd be something else, but never in this space. But when you get in it, you don't. I guess you don't know. I mean, years ago, you didn't. No, no, heck no. Back in the late '80s or early '90s, did I think about being an entrepreneur? No, because I didn't even know where my career. I thought I'd be a housekeeping manager forever. You know what I mean? Because I started housekeeping. So I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew that there was 3 other disciplines that I was going to do if I stayed with the courtyard division of Marriott, right?
Right.
So back then you did 3 different disciplines in order to be a general manager. So you had housekeeping, front office, and food and beverage. Then you're eligible to become a general manager. But the component that I wanted was sales, right? So, but I knew that I needed operation experience before I went to sales. Some people just go the other route. They just go straight to sales. But for me, it was important that I knew the entire operation of a hotel before I applied that to the sales field or sales
Yeah.
department or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So I did have a plan for what I was going to do. And then I ended up leaving Marriott and then we moved to Sacramento for like 3 years. And then that's when I got my full service experience and all that stuff. And then, 13 or maybe 10 hotels later, that's when I got into
Wow.
sales, right? Well, no,
Wow.
maybe about 7 or 8
Yeah,
hotels.
but you keep moving to other positions but they're kind of same until you figure out, hey, I don't want to be I don't want to be a coordinator anymore.
Yeah,
I'm going to go for the sales job, but you got to be ready. It's got to be something you feel inside to say,
exactly.
okay,
Exactly. And I don't know how many times people turn me down. People within my own company or my own hotel, I would tell them that I had aspirations to be in sales. They're like, well, why would you want to do that? Your background is this, your background is that. They were basically discouraging me from doing it until I got to a director of sales and marketing who was open. He could see through that. He could just see my experience, right? He could see that people like me, that I was easy to talk to, and I can, just start a conversation with anyone. He could see past what my
what your role
experience
was.
was.
Yes,
Exactly.
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 Yeah.
So, I shout out to Tom Torrance. I mean, I got to give Tom Torrance a shout out because he's the one that saw through that other people didn't see,
Isn't that
so I
great?
appreciate Tom Torrance for giving me that opportunity. But anyway, yeah, it's not even about me. It was about you.
No,
But anyway,
but I'm glad to hear this because honestly, what we forget when we're going through the whole you know job moving from place to place
hmm
and he listening to people. I mean, you could have had somebody say to you, you don't need to be in sales, and they could have said it to you 10 times and then you started to believe it
that's
and you
true.
would have never gone into sales. So there's the beauty of it. There's also the power is always within us. It is not outside of us. So you might have somebody telling you no, 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 but you knew what you wanted to go to. So,
That's true.
look what you created. So that's
That's
what.
true. Like I said, I'd never in a million years thought I would be in this. It would have taken me this route.
Right,
I never would
right.
have. I never would have thought that. I just knew, like I said, I started off in housekeeping. That was my end to Marriott because I knew I was going to work for Marriott from when I took my first class in hotel sales or hotel operation. I can't remember what it was at Cal Poly Pomona, but I knew I said I got to be in sales because I like to talk and I like what these people were doing or not doing. Okay, I mean, but you think on the outside looking in, like, oh, this is easy, this is a cakewalk, and oh, they don't have to deal with this. Oh, they're just talking to people and they're going to lunch and they're doing this and they have expense accounts and all that kind of crap. And and I saw that, but I said I have to wait to get to that point. Let me figure out the entire hotel because what I was finding out that a lot of salespeople didn't have the operation experience that I had. So if I can
Right.
do that and apply that, I would be ahead of the game because what I was finding out that salespeople were promising something that operations could never
Could
deliver.
never deliver. You're
Exactly.
so right about that.
Exactly. And I said,
So right.
I'm never going to do that. Okay. Because I know they can't do this. Okay. They're promising the world and can't deliver a city. You know what I mean? So,
I
um,
do.
yeah. And I would be stuck with some of that stuff, working as a front office manager, you'd be stuck
Yeah.
with having to deal with that, because the complaint center is the front desk, right?
Oh
Everybody's going
yeah,
to complain. They're going to go to the front desk, or they're going to call the front desk. So I
that's
was
right.
dealing with a lot of that stuff, and I'm like, when I get into sales, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not
You're
going to
not
do
going
it
to
like
do
that.
that. Well, and not only that, being in housekeeping, if a hotel occupancy is low, you've got less people working. And so I know in sales, I felt terrible because I was still collecting a paycheck. And if the hotel occupancy is, 30% or 40%, you've got a lot less housekeepers that are working and getting paid, around the holidays too, if it wasn't busy.
That's so
So
true.
you feel guilty, but because I had gone through the front desk and operations and understanding all of that, that I felt much more. I just had this obligation to
Yeah,
want to do better
exactly.
and and keep other people working. You know.
That's true. And you know what? It's funny you should say that, because a lot of salespeople don't think like that. They don't look at the entire picture of what their position really holds. I mean, the power that it holds. It keeps people employed. It keeps our housekeepers in front office, keeps them with their 40 hours, right?
Yeah.
So people don't think that, and I'm glad you brought that point up, because that is, I used to think about that all the time too. I remember my last position as director of sales and marketing at the Sheraton and at Universal. I
Universal.
remember at my first EC meeting, that's one of the things that I said. I said, my job as a director of sales and marketing is to make sure everyone has their hours. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it. And if they don't, then I failed as a director of sales and marketing.
Correct. Absolutely the way I feel. I
Yeah.
100%. And people that don't have operations, if to somebody in housekeeping that sees us sitting in our office and going out to lunch and taking people out to lunch, you're like, what, why are they getting paid? What's, and I can't get hours. Yeah, it's
Yeah. Yes.
definitely a viewpoint that I've always kept in my mind. So
Yes. Well, that's good. This has been a good conversation here. This is
thank you.
just two friends just talking, having a conversation about
Thank you.
hospitality, and that's what it's all about. And that's what it's supposed to be about. Not necessarily you got to answer questions. That's it. But no, we know we're gonna veer off into some other you know conversations, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's like I said, it's just two friends, two colleagues, or whatever, just talking, having a conversation about it. So,
Talking
but
about it, yeah, our experience and our chosen profession. So
exactly. Something that we're both very passionate about.
yeah,
And I mean, a lot of people are passionate about, and that's why I want other people to come on and tell us their story, because everyone has a different story. I had Marette on Friday, have you on today, and you guys didn't say anything similar, right? Because your paths to this industry are different, and
they
my
are.
path is different. So that's three different perspectives, right? So that's what it's all about. That's why I want people to come on. So whoever's watching this show and they want to come on, all you have to do is reach out to me. And these are not planned, right? I mean, although of course between Marie and I, we had a conversation last week on Thursday and said, "Hey, can you do it on Monday?" You know what I mean? What time? About 11 o'clock. Okay, let's do it.
That's the
Well,
plan.
we've been doing this. We've been on. We start at 11, but we didn't actually go live until about 11:15, right?
No, it
Because
was
we were
later than
just
that. Yeah.
yeah. So we were just talking, and I was having some issues with whatever, and then we said, "Okay, let's do it." So
Yeah.
it's not something that has to be planned out. It's not like the show that I do on air with Russell of Hotels. Let me throw my plug out there, which is on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So this is not like that. So it's just basically two people in the hospitality industry just talking about their career path or their chosen path. Did they choose to go? Was it by accident or whatever? And then it turned into Marie has her own company, right? She started off as a switchboard, a PBX operator, and then now she has her own meetings collective, which is site selection company and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Still
So
related in the industry, but thank you, Russell. Really, it's a great question. I really loved the question when I heard it, that, the first time that you put it out there. And always love catching up with you and sharing our experiences. And
Yes.
and thank you always for asking. Appreciate it.
Oh, of course. No, thank you for your willingness to come on. I appreciate that. So we'll see each other again soon,
Okay.
shortly, hopefully in the next couple of months, maybe we'll get
Yeah.
together for lunch or something.
Yes. Sounds
But
good.
thank you again, once again, and we're gonna end it with some music. Now, the music that I play is actually a cousin of mine. So that kind of
Oh,
rock music that I was playing.
really?
Yeah, can you hear that?
Uh-huh.
So that's Nico Miles, right? He's actually my cousin. So
Very
I told
cool.
him that I'm gonna start playing his music at some of my, whatever my lives that I do. So, but anyway, thank you so much, Marie. I appreciate
Thank
you. You
you.
have a
Have a
great
good
day, and we'll talk soon.
talk soon. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All
Bye.
right, take care.